program at, or the BSN program at University of Mary Washington. Tell me your name and your birth date.
Patricia Snellings, 2/9/37.
What we're doing today is, after having gone over, like we did before, your health risks and your family health risks and your current issues, it's just kind of a teaching to talk about, sort of wrapping up what we went over. And so the three areas that were a concern were a past history of osteoporosis. So that was bone loss, and you resolved that with medication, but you also did some changes in your lifestyle that helped with that. And what were those things?
Exercise and a lot of dancing. The weight lifting.
Right. And you changed your diet as well?
Yeah, I don't know if that helped the bones, but I tried to stick with low-fat diet.
Okay. Because the other risks that you had were, you have a family history of heart disease, and no history of it yourself. And you also had the high cholesterol. And in a way they overlap because they can all be affected by exercise, family history, and diet. So it seems from what we talked about before that you're very aware of your diet, what you need to eat, and what kind of exercise you need to do. So instead of having to teach you a lot of new things, I'm just going to sort of add on to what you already know. So the exercise you're doing is weight-bearing exercise. That just means that you're putting your body weight on your bones, which helps to increase your bone. So swimming would be not a weight-bearing exercise, but you're doing dancing, which is good. So the one thing I would add for you is to consider adding some exercise that helps with balance. And I think you said you do some yoga already. Tai Chi has been shown to help with balance, because besides the risk of the actual bone loss, there's the risk of falls as you get older that you'd want to be concerned with. So do they offer that here?
They have Tai Chi here, yeah.
Okay, have you tried it?
Haven't tried it yet. First class is free. I'm going to try it one day.
I think, you probably would enjoy it. It's almost a little bit like dancing, and it's not strenuous, but it's very good for your balance and also for your strength. So, as far as the strength training that you do, are you doing the free weights or the weight equipment?
I'm in a new gym now.
Yeah.
The other gym had the weights, the actual weights.
Free weights.
This is air resistance.
Oh,
I don't know how that works.
But it's a
exactly.
machine as opposed to picking up things.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you can do the free weights in here.
Well, I do some free weights too, but the main part of the exercise class here is the machines.
Okay. Good. So another thing you can consider is elastic bands, where you attach some different body parts. You have to learn, I guess, how to use them and stretch, and that also works on your muscles. And then with this new gym, do they have stair climbers and elliptical trainers?
They have ellipticals. I don't use the elliptical. I use the bicycle or the treadmill, but I don't use the elliptical because it's too much shoulder.
Oh,
movement.
okay.
It hurts my
Well, I think
shoulder.
you can set it so that it doesn't work on your shoulders. But those are also considered weight-bearing exercises, and just even just walking. So, so another thing that would concern me, since you've just moved into the retirement community, is it's probably going to change your diet quite a bit. So you won't have as much control over what you eat, because when you go to the dining room, you eat what they serve you within limits, but you're not going to be eating the same as before. So you've maintained a really good weight for your height. I would be concerned if you started losing weight because you didn't eat enough, or gain weight because they had such good food there. So it might not be a bad idea. I wouldn't say you have to do this until, if you notice there's a problem, to track what you're eating, just sort of to keep track of, gosh, I've had pasta 5 nights in a row, maybe.
They have quite a variety
to
choose from. So
there is a good variety, but I haven't seen the kind of food that you make at home, which is the the whole grains and that kind of thing as much. I think they know people aren't going to necessarily be as excited about that.
Yeah,
So.
they do have. You can always request brown rice if you want.
Okay.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, and then for your calcium, everyone knows dairy products and calcium, but do you know some other sources of dietary calcium?
Kale.
Kale, yeah. Dark leafy greens, good.
Kale and oranges.
Those are good in lots of vitamin C. I don't think they have, they're high in calcium.
Yeah.
Almonds, which I think
Oh,
you like to eat
okay.
nuts, so
I eat a lot of
those are
nuts.
good for you. And you can also buy soy milk that has calcium added to it.
Mhm.
And then if you eat canned fish like salmon or sardines that has the bones in it, the calcium
Oh,
in the
yeah.
bones actually is just as like good as getting calcium from milk, that kind of thing.
Good.
So, and then it kind of overlaps with the high cholesterol and the heart disease. I've read recently that women with with osteoporosis also have higher risk of heart disease. So it all kind of fits together, and increasing your exercise and also eating healthy diet is going to help with your cholesterol risk and your heart disease risk. So everything sort of fits together, and you don't have anything serious going on. One thing I wanted to touch on is with women, that a lot of women aren't aware of the signs of a heart attack or heart disease, and even healthcare workers sometimes don't recognize a woman having symptoms of a heart attack. Because in men, you've probably heard this, the men usually say pressure on the chest, and women don't necessarily say that. Only about half of them have the chest pressure. So do you know any things that you would look for that would be a change that you'd be concerned for?
I think I've heard that sometimes their jaw will hurt, and
Mhm.
even stomach ache can be a
Yeah,
sign
they
of
said
heart.
stomach irritability, unexplained fatigue.
Mhm.
Checking my notes here.
Shortness of breath.
Shortness of breath, unusual fatigue, sometimes a sleep disturbance, shortness of breath, indigestion, and anxiety, just a feeling that something's wrong.
Mm.
So those are things to look for, and it's still the leading cause of death for women, even though we don't hear about it as much as for men.
Yeah.
And the high cholesterol you've been working on with your diet and the medication. Do you remember the medication that you take?
Simvastatin.
Simvastatin, okay. What's 40 milligrams a day? Okay, and that's kept your cholesterol under. Do you remember what the last number was?
The last time I had it checked, both numbers were the same. The high and the low were exactly the same.
And that's good. Okay, good. All right. I think if there's anything that I've left out. We talked about the symptoms of heart disease and different types of exercise you could consider.
Is walking good for your bones?
Yeah, that's a weight-bearing exercise. There's some disagreement on whether bicycling is, but they definitely say swimming is not, because the whole point of swimming is it takes all the weight off your body. So it's not adding any strength to your bones. So, and just touching on the risks of heart disease, the things that that contribute to that are being overweight, smoking, having diabetes, having high blood pressure, and having high cholesterol. So of all of those, the only one you have is the high cholesterol, which is controlled with your diet and medication. So that's great. And then being female gives you a lower risk. And it sounds like overall you're doing everything right. You have options you can look into if you want to try other things, and just things to be aware of now that you're in a new environment, and you might be getting different amounts of exercise or eating differently. So did you have any questions about any of these?
No. Since I'm here, I sleep better.
Oh, that's
I
good.
don't know why, but I do.
Maybe because they wear you out. I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of walking all day, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Good. Well, I'm glad that's working out for you. Great.